Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, guys, I am so excited, but we're going to be reviewing the new Game Beauty Harbinger palette. So you guys want to see what this palette's all about, what type of look I create, well then definitely keep on watching. Alrighty guys, it is so weird to be sitting back in my filming room to film a video. I have not filmed a video in a week, and that may not seem like a long time to you guys, but like it's a long time to me because I pretty much film every single day. So to be sitting back on my YouTube setup, I'm like, this is so weird, but so good, and it's just so nice to be back home. If you guys don't know, I did get married this past weekend, so thank you guys so much for all the love you guys sent mine and Corey's way. Thank you guys for all the love from yesterday's video. If you guys can't tell, I am battling a little cold right now, but I'm definitely on the up and up. I'm definitely getting better. I'm just, you know, have some residual leftover stuff, but anyway, I am so excited because we're back into day 22 of Vlog-O-Ween, and I am so happy to say that I'll be reviewing the new Game Beauty Harbinger palette. Now, this was actually sent to me in PR. I did receive it last week, but I just didn't have time to film it, and you guys know how much I love Game Beauty. I have been very, very adamant about how much I love Game Beauty since I reviewed them last year, and they're just such a phenomenal brand. I thoroughly do enjoy all their palettes. I love the packaging. Like the packaging alone is just, it's just so different. It's just so out there, and it's just everything that I love about gaming and whatnot. I just think the packaging is so cool. It tells such an immersive story. They put a lot of thought into their packaging. You can tell when it comes to how they create their palette design. Freaking beautiful. Now, this palette, like I said, this palette actually launched, I want to say on the 15th. Now, it does retail for $45. You guys do get 10 shades in here. And guys, it finally happened, but you guys can use code Allie D to save you guys 10% off your purchase. This is so exciting. I'm so excited they gave me a code. I thought that was so freaking cool. So thank you guys so much for giving me a code, but for also sending this to me in PR. Thank you guys so much. So what is the Harbinger palette? Well, first off, this is how the palette looks. It's so cohesive with all of their other palettes. It is just a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing palette. I say that every time. And I like that it's called the Harbinger palette because I always think of like Harbinger of Death. And since we are in the month of October, Halloween, I find this to be so fitting. And when you open it up, it is just freaking gorgeous. Here, I'll do it this way. It is just so damn pretty. I love it. Now, it says that the Harbinger is an eyeshadow palette that holds an incredible depth of range of 10 dangerously inviting colors, complemented by splashes of metallic tones and deep matte hues to create a harmony of light and dark. I think that's awesome. And it also says, for running the industry standard premium quality of makeup, Harbinger has an ultra fine formula for an excellent application and coverage. Harbinger palette is vegan friendly and cruelty free, so we can be sure that the animal future is a safe one. The stars have already written your destiny and forged your path, but they cannot foretell how beautiful you look walking it. Which I just think this is so beautiful. It definitely gives me like a feel of like a little Halloween vibe palette. I'm living for it. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch this for you guys, and then we're just going to go ahead and dive straight into a look. I'm going to tell you guys about St. Augustine. What I actually am grateful for is that there's no pressed glitters. In their very, very first palette, they did come out with a pressed glitter. And I definitely think they saw the feedback from everybody not saying that we don't really care for pressed glitter. So they did take that out, which I am very, very appreciative of. Because if you guys know, I'm very, very anal when it comes to pressed glitter. And I just was not a fan of their pressed glitter, unfortunately. Okay, so here are the swatches right here. The very first shade we have is Lumen, followed by Devour, Doom, Phantom, this beautiful shifting dual chrome shade. This is called Abyss. Like if you guys actually look at this in the palette, like it is that shade right there. So it definitely has a different reflex in there. You can definitely see the dual chrome shift, which I really do love. Then we have Dawn, another dual chrome shift, followed by Molten, Lament, Woe, and Herald right there. Very, very, very gorgeous. Very like ominous palette. I think it's really bringing it to life what, you know, the Harbinger brings, and I just think it's very complementary to all of their other shades that they have and all the other palettes they have. Very gorgeous. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in. We're gonna get this eye look started, and I'm excited! Okay, so the very first shade I'm gonna go into is this shade Lumen right here. Very, very beautiful shade. I'm gonna start off in the inner corner. So if you guys don't know, for my wedding, I went to St. Augustine, and St. Augustine is one of my favorite places in the world. I just love how historic it is. It's one of the oldest cities in the United States, and I just love everything about it. And every time I go there, I always go on different ghost tours or different just like tourist tours. So I made everybody who came go on a pub crawl. Now, I've never done this type of pub crawl before. I've always done all these other tours where you either take a hearse or you do like a walking tour or you go to like, you do like a trolley tour, but I've never done like a pub crawl before. And I showed a lot of it on my vlog. However, I didn't show truly what that walking tour was like. It was so much fun. The tour guide was very informative, but you know, the tour guide was kind of tweaked out a little bit too. He was enjoying drinking at the pubs with us, which was great. But he was just a really, really interesting fella. And at one point on the tour, you can kind of see it, but you really can't. He was trying to take us down this alleyway, and as we were walking towards that destination, there was like this like old guy walking down the street that was just like loudly dry heaving. I think he was throwing up. It just like was so loud. Freaked out the tour guide, so he took us down a different way. And in the video, you see me kind of like put the camera down because I'm laughing, and then I pan over and I'm looking at Paige and Jarvis hears it and he turns around, and that's where the video gets cut because I didn't want to like film the entire thing because that guy was so loud. So me and my group were kind of laughing because you could tell this was bothering the dude. I was surprised I wasn't bothered by it, but this guy was just in the alleyway just the whole time. We're like, what the heck? And we didn't know that we went to St. Augustine during Bike Week. So Bike Week was also taking place. I know that Flagler College was right there, so all the college people are celebrating. So it was like really packed and really busy, and it was just something that I just was not expecting. But it was just so much fun. That tour I actually had a lot of fun on. I did learn a lot of stuff that I just genuinely did not know. I found it to be very, very educational, but just going with a bunch of friends was so much fun. And there was just so much I wasn't able to capture, but I wanted to be able to show you guys that because you guys know how much I love St. Augustine. You guys know I believe in ghosts, and St. Augustine is known for being a really, really, really haunted area. I'm going to go into the shade Abyss right here. Now, we stayed at this Airbnb, and this Airbnb was in a really old neighborhood. So I was like really sketched out when we drove to the neighborhood because I was like, ooh, I don't know. But when you walked into the Airbnb, it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, truly, truly, truly. You could tell they put a lot of like work into the home to make it really nice and homey, really beautiful. And I was just blown away by how beautiful it was. I actually gave you guys a tour on that video. Well, while I was there the very first night that I was there, I had a really, really scary dream. Now, I had a dream that I was in that Airbnb. I was in the room. I was woken up because there was a little boy that woke me up and pretty much told me that we weren't welcome there. But it wasn't menacing, just pretty much letting me know that like he was there with us and that we just weren't really welcome to stay. I remember just being like really, really scared in my dream, and I kept waking up. Like in real life, I kept waking up because I was like absolutely terrified in my dream because I knew that we were, you know, in a ghost presence, and I don't think I've ever been in a ghost presence before, and I'm a big believer in ghosts. So I was like really like shaken up, but then I kept falling back asleep and going right back into that dream where that little boy saying, you know, we weren't really welcome there. But it didn't make me feel threatened. I just was scared because I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to a child ghost. And then our alarm went off at 6 a.m. because Corey had to get to go golfing. By the way, these shades are beautiful. Corey had to get to go golfing. And when the alarm went off, we're kind of just laying in bed, forcing ourselves to wake up. We heard these footsteps. Doom, 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 doom. Like footsteps walking up the stairs. And immediately I went like pale and I went white, and I was like, what the heck was that? And Corey looked over the door too. We just both got dead quiet. And he just goes, it's our dogs. It's just our dogs walking around. And I'm like, Koa's laying in bed and Kaya's laying over on the other bed. Like, because we had a big king size bed, but Koa was laying, we brought their 2 dog beds and they're both laying in it. And I was like, sure, it's the dogs. Because I don't think he wanted to admit what we had heard, because I think it just would have been a realization for him, and he would have been really scared because Corey does not do well in that type of situation, just does not do well. So I then proceeded to tell him about the dream that I had, where I had a dream about that place being haunted, and about this little boy named Eric who was telling us that we weren't really welcome to be there. And again, that kind of freaked out Corey, but he kind of chucked it off. And then later that day, Michael and Allison came over to our Airbnb, and I immediately looked at Michael and I was like, hey, because Michael's really into this stuff. He feels spirits just like Teresa's dad does, like they're best friends. They feel the spirits, whatever. So I'm gonna go into shade Devour right here. So I was telling him about my dream and what I was, what I experienced, and he walked around the place and said that he didn't feel anything. So I immediately felt so much better. Like I felt so much better. I was like, okay, cool. He's not feeling anything. I feel safe. That night we went out and we celebrated, or that night we had everybody over, and that's when we had the surprise bachelorette party, which was so much fun. Paige and my best friend Alyssa threw together the cutest little bachelorette party. It was very unexpected, did not know that was happening, and it meant so much to me. Like that was freaking awesome. So we all partied. We stayed up until like 2:00 that night, and Michael and Allison ended up staying in our Airbnb because their hotel had like a really weird chemical smell. So they stayed in our Airbnb. And Michael slept on the couch, and, he said everything was fine, whatnot. We went about our day, which was turning out to be the wedding day. And, I'm nervous and whatnot. And, we went about our wedding day, which I will talk about in another video because you guys will see the vlog. But the wedding day turned out to be amazing. It was better than I ever expected. And it was so beautiful. And I can't wait for you guys to see the full video of how everything turned out. So beautiful. But that night we came back. We all went back to the Airbnb and we were just like partying again. And this time we didn't stay up super late because all of us have been staying up late like every single day. So we've been exhausted. But we were, Michael slept on the couch again. And then that night, I woke up at like 7 a.m. because I don't sleep very well. I don't sleep well when I'm in a new place. I just don't. I don't know if it's my body's reaction to not really knowing where I'm at. If I have really bad anxiety about it, I just don't sleep well in a new location. I'm always tossing and turning, consistently waking up. It's just something that my body just doesn't feel comfortable with. It takes me a while to get used to it. So I have a hard time sleeping throughout the night. So by 7 a.m., I was up. I went downstairs to go make some coffee. And Michael had just woken up and he was downstairs. And then Michael tells me, he asked me, he goes, did you get up in the middle of the night by any chance and come downstairs and check on me? And I said, no. And he goes, you didn't. And I said, no, I did not. And he goes, okay. Did Allison? I said, no, Allison's been passed out like 2 hours before we went to bed. Like, no way. Michael then proceeds to tell me about how in the middle of the night when he's laying on the couch, he hears these footsteps going from my room, mine and Corey's room, all the way to where Juan and Alyssa were sleeping on the other side of the house, that bedroom that I show you, back to Allison, and just this back and forth walking around. And then the footsteps proceed to go downstairs, stand at the very edge of the footsteps, and just stop. It stopped. Like, it just dead stopped. And Michael was like, hello? And no one responded, and then he ended up going back to sleep. Then, probably like an hour before I came downstairs, he was awoken by something like just woke him up. And he looks over the front door, and he sees like the little doorknob like jiggling, and like someone like pressing the numbers because it's like a number system to get in. And he sees these two dark shadows standing outside the door, just like staring in. And Michael's like, hello? And it really, really kind of freaked him out. But like not in a way that he felt like he was going to die. Just like, what the heck is this? So he saw that and he kept saying hello. And then the black figures just disappeared, just went away. And then I came downstairs about an hour later. So he told me about this and he was like, I don't know. He goes, I don't get the vibes here. But we are also in a very, very, very old neighborhood. I'm talking about like one street over is where Martin Luther King Jr. stayed when he was doing the march across St. Augustine. He stayed in that Airbnb or like a house one street over. Sort of a very, very old historical district. And very kind of very creepy. And then maybe within like 30 minutes, Juan and Alyssa comes downstairs. And Juan comes downstairs and he's like, man, guys, I don't know. And we're like, what? He goes, I had a really bad dream last night. We're like, what is it? He goes, well, I had a dream about this Airbnb and that it was haunted and that there was like this little boy that was in the Airbnb. And he kind of stopped and he goes, I don't want to talk about it. I just know that I woke up in the night, got really scared and like leaned against Alyssa. And me and Michael looked at each other because I was like, I had a dream. I had a dream 2 nights ago. And like we start explaining it and Allison and Alyssa are like freaking out, getting the chills. And I'm like, how weird is that? Because not once in that house did I feel threatened in any way, shape, or form. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt completely safe. But I also don't think we were really alone. Now, like I said, we're in a very, very old neighborhood. The entire town of St. Augustine is haunted, like every part of it. And you know, there was a very good chance that the Airbnb we were staying at, the houses could have burnt down and be rebuilt, because on our ghost tour, there was a bar that we went to called Stogie's, I think that's what it's called. That house has been burnt down 3 different times and built back up. I showed a little bit of that house where I showed a little bit of that house. I showed actually a clip of Michael climbing in the bathroom of where this girl with a seamstress was staying, where her bedroom was. I showed a little bit in that video. That's a very, very haunted location. And so St. Augustine just has a lot of historical stuff that happened there, and a lot of hauntings that happened there. And, you know, who's to say that we didn't experience that while we were there? Like, we very, very well could have. Now, I know that Paige and Jarvis were telling us at their Airbnb, they had some weird stuff happen to them as well. Like, at one point, the door, I guess Cameron and Alicia have like a door that go out to the patio in their bedroom. Their door opened up all on its own and opened up in the middle of the night, just like opened up completely. Paige had her blinds shut. Her blinds suddenly opened on their own. Their fan just turned off. Like, there are just small things that have been happening to them too. So I'm like, you know, it's very, very, very possible we are in the city where this is bound to happen, especially when you stay at Airbnbs or like bed and breakfasts where places are known to be haunted. Now, I looked up reviews on the place that we stayed at, and I didn't see anywhere in the reviews that said that this place was haunted. Like, no one indicated that they've experienced anything that we did. And Corey never felt anything. Corey never experienced anything, and neither did Alyssa or Allison. But I think the difference between us and them is that I'm open to, I guess, the spirit world is the best way to put it. I'm open to it, and so is Michael, and so is Juan. Juan's very open to it as well. So I wonder if because we were open to it, we allowed that spirit to communicate to us. I don't know. All I know is that it's really weird that Juan and I had a dream, the exact same dream. Michael had his experience, and it just really, like, I don't know, kind of like wrapped everything up for me in St. Augustine, because every time I've gone to St. Augustine, I've always stayed at a hotel, but I've always wanted to go somewhere where I got to experience some sort of haunting. Now, that was a very sweet, tame, like, one. I don't think the spirit there necessarily wanted us to leave, but I don't think the spirit there was like, you need to get out now. I think it's just more like, you're not staying. But I think maybe it's used to it being like an Airbnb. I don't know. But I looked up all the reviews, and no review said that that place felt haunted. No review talked about it. So I'm not sure. Like, I just thought it was very weird. Or, you know, I said to Michael, I was like, maybe somebody came back with us from the hunting tour, but Juan and Alyssa weren't there for that ghost tour. We were there. So I don't know. I just know that I wanted to share that experience with you guys, because long ago when I did my, I think like first makeup and mystery, I did a whole story. I did stories about St. Augustine and all the hauntings in St. Augustine and where some really haunted places are in St. Augustine. And I talked about it, and then I got to have kind of like an experience on my own. So I thought that was like really cool. I wanted to share that with you guys. And I have not really said one thing about this palette because I've been so into my story, because I've been wanting to tell you guys. But I will say that this is a very, very beautiful shade. At first, I was a little hesitant about it when I swatched it because it didn't really swatch very well, but it is laying down very, very nicely. It's blending out beautifully, but I also knew that was going to be the case because I know Game Beauty's formula, and they have a really, really, really nice formula. So I wasn't worried about it not blending in the slightest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of leave the eye look like this. I'm just going to blend it out just a little bit more. We're going to do the other eye off camera, come back with lashes, and then we're going to do the waterline and we're going to do the waterline and inner corner together. I really want to take the black shade Doom and the laminate gray and kind of mix it for like underneath and do like still like kind of like a Halloween inspired look. So yeah, I just went off on a tangent to tell you guys that story, but I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera, guys, and then I will be right on back. Okay, so now that the face is on, we are going to go ahead and do the underneath. So I'm going to go into the shade Doom right here. I'm going to take it on this flat brush that I got from Jaclyn Cosmetics, or Jaclyn and Morphe, and I'm going to take it and I'm just going to literally press it straight into my waterline. Now, this is what I do when I go to line my upper lid, when I go to like put lashes on, because I feel like it really helps to blend the two together, like my lash line and the falsies. So we're just going to lay this right here. Okay, perfect. Now that it's stamped in, we're going to go ahead and blend that out. All right, we're going to take the shade Laminate right here to blend out that black shade. I wanted to do something with the gray, just wasn't sure how to utilize the gray, so I just figured why not like use it for the eye look, or why not use it for like blending out the black. It kind of makes it almost like bluish. Okay, so then I'm gonna take a brush like this right here, and we're gonna go into the shade Dawn, this beautiful like duochrome shift shade. We're gonna take it and we're gonna start to just lay that right on top of that, right on top of this. Just lay that here. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so now that that's done, we're gonna go back into the palette one more time, and then I'm gonna go into the shade Phantom right here. I'm trying to utilize as much shades as possible, so I'm gonna go into Phantom, and then we're gonna take this, we're gonna pop this right in the inner corner. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my lips off camera, and then I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, this is the final look. So I tried doing something a little different with my lips. I'm really not feeling my lips. It's more bluish. I tried doing black, white, and like a purple topper, and this is the look that I came up with. But I never get to wear black unless it's Halloween, so I wanted to wear black with it, and I'm just not sure how I feel about it. But we're just gonna go with it. So what are my thoughts on the Game Beauty palette? First off, you guys know how much I love the packaging. I think the packaging is so cohesive with the brand. It's really cohesive with all of the other palettes. Like, it blends beautifully. It tells such an epic story and just really brings in like the Halloween feel. I feel like I'm about to go into like the scary level of Mario Kart, or I'm about to go into like a scary level of a game and like do like the final boss battle. Like, I really do enjoy the aesthetics of this palette. When you actually open up the palette itself, this may not be like your stereotypical like Halloween palette, but I definitely think it's perfect in time for Halloween, because you could definitely see where you can get some Halloween vibes out of here. Now, I really do love the shade Abyss. This is probably my favorite shade in the palette. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. It is a duochrome shift, very beautiful, laid down very easily and blended out really easily. I also really like the shade Lumen, because I think those two blended together beautifully. Then the shade Devour. I was really thoroughly impressed with this. At first, when I swatched it, I was like, ooh, I wasn't really sure about it, but the more I played with it, the more I laid it down, the easy it was to blend out. It didn't have any fallout on the face, barely had any kick of the pan. Really, really, really enjoyable to work out. Really enjoyable to work with. Then the shades Sean and Laminate, I really wanted to utilize them together. They turn into like this weird kind of like lip color that I'm wearing right now. Beautiful colors. I love the duochrome shade Dawn. Again, it's a very beautiful shadow. And then the shade Phantom was beautiful for the inner corner. So the only shades I didn't play with was Herald, Woe, and Molten, and I definitely will play with those shades. But I feel like I can safely say that as Game Beauty keeps producing more palettes, the formula just keeps getting better and better and better. I love the formula of this palette. It's very easy to work with. It has great blendability. The shimmers are beautiful. They're creamy. They're buttery. They blend out beautifully. And I just really do enjoy this palette. And not to mention, I love the fact that it is so tiny and petite that it fits into your collection very, very easily. You don't have to worry about it taking up a lot of space. It's easy to travel with. And it's just an overall aesthetically pleasing palette. I love it. So Game Beauty, thank you guys so much for gifting this to me in PR. It gets me so excited. You guys know how much I love video gaming. You guys know how much I love Halloween. And you guys know how much I love Game Beauty. And they were kind enough to give this to me in PR. Like I said, this does retail for $45. There's 10 shades in here. And you guys can use code AllieD to save you guys 10% off your purchase. And I just think this is great. I think it's just great in time for the Halloween season. So hopefully you guys didn't mind the ghost stories that I told you guys today. I was just really enthralled by them. I couldn't believe I got to have some sort of experience with Insane Augustine. I thought it was great, and yeah, I think it fit perfectly with this palette. So once again, Game Beauty, thank you guys so much for gifting this to me in PR. If you guys want to pick this up yourself, I will link it in the description of this video. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you do, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys have not already, because I do post every single day in the month of Vlog-O-Ween. Make sure you guys head over to my other channel. It's R for Life. You guys get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey, and a huge, huge, huge thank you to all these beautiful Patreon members that you guys see right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribed, you guys said not subscribed, either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye. But we live in a very, very, well, we were staying in a very, very old neighborhood. Like, one street over is where Martha Luther is. All right, guys. Now this, hey, cat, no, love the dual crochet you be look. Don't forget to subscribe if you, how beautiful you be look walking into it. How beautiful you